Ever since I made my Rooster Teeth got shut down video, it did surprisingly well. I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. So I thought to myself, why not make a follow-up video to this? I mean, no one's gonna complain, right? Besides, that stream I did turned out to be a disaster, so hey, I might as well take the alternative route. That being said, this video in particular is gonna focus on the questions or theories as to what will happen to the franchise that RWBY fans might have had at some point, since there are a lot of people who are still passionate about the franchise. A little too passionate if you ask me. But honestly, this is the internet we're talking about here. Everyone has their own weird way of expressing their opinions sometimes. Speaking of which, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below, since it's probably the only way that people can constructively criticize my videos. After all, it's not like YouTube gives a shit about public opinions anymore. In addition, I'll be throwing in some speculations of my own just to keep things interesting. With that being said, we can probably get started with one of the most obvious speculations, that being, will Volume 10 ever come out? And my answer to that is no! Rooster Teeth already shot themselves in the foot just by getting shut down, which, as I said before, was already due to bad business practices. So why continue shooting yourselves even further? Oh god, that actually sounded wrong. Hold on. So why bother humiliating yourselves any further, Rooster Teeth? Honestly, the fact that you had to start a movement in an attempt to get Volume 10 greenlit, well, let's just say I don't like throwing the term idiot at a bunch of people, but honestly, I feel like I need to make an exception for Rooster Teeth in particular. And what's funny is that you'd think people wouldn't actually buy this stuff, right? Well, considering the thumbnail of this video, moving on. Next, I want to address the rumors of how RWBY will continue on, just not as a Rooster Teeth project anymore. This will probably mean it'll get rebooted or something, but I'm not getting my hopes up. At the end of the day, rumors are just rumors. They're not meant to be taken seriously. On the assumption that it is, though, a lot of people had wanted Crunchyroll to buy RWBY's IP, but that is something I do not want happening. Just trust me when I say Crunchyroll had its fair share of bad deeds, okay? We don't want to take any chances. Well, if not Crunchyroll, then who? Well, personally, I like it to be Dylan Goo Studios. After all, he claimed that he helped work on some of the fight scenes in RWBY prior to Volume 4, and judging by the animations on his channel, yeah, I'd say that checks out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description if you want to go check them out for yourselves. Trust me, he's gonna need all the support he can get. Now let's snap back to reality a bit and ask ourselves, why? Why did this, of all things, happen? Well, as I said before, it was, just bad business practices. But I think there's another reason for it. Lack of inspiration and creativity. Now, a lot of people tend to cope over the fact that new content is new content. That's just the way it is. But what's the point of said content if there's no passion, creativity, or inspiration behind it all? That's just ridiculous. And while yes, I understand that's technically not the reason for why Rooster Teeth got shut down, it still played a pretty big part regardless, so take that for what you will. In fact, and I know this is something that a lot of people don't want to hear, I'm kind of glad Rooster Teeth got shut down. Okay, now hear me out when I say this. That doesn't mean I do not feel bad for the people who got caught in the crossfire. Speaking of people who got caught in the crossfire, what does this mean for the RWBY fandom? Well, something tells me that it will persist, but again, that doesn't mean I don't feel bad. That said, I wish a shutdown would have happened sooner, since the amount of controversies they had was enough to the point where the damage was unfixable. I'm Mr. Titan, and there's a personal saying I like to believe in. Don't be sad because it's over. Be happy because it happened, because I understand that there's a lot of people who had fond memories of Rooster Teeth as a whole, myself included. Although, there are times where you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Who can say?